Racing, where we got questions to figure out here. Does Gran Turismo 7 have so many problems that it is now broken? And not the whole game, just sport mode recently. So we're going to be testing that out. Because lately, the penalty system, in between the penalty system, some of the racing that's being displayed, it's got me wondering whether sport mode is actually kind of broken or are the ways around it. So we'll be covering what can we do to really get out of what lately has seemed like a broken sport mode, where sometimes you get random penalties even though someone pushed you out. So we were racing last week and we got knocked off the course and we picked up a penalty even though we got knocked off, and the person that knocked us off received no penalty, and were then able to continue to knock other cars off the track. So, is Sport Mode 2 broken? Well, we're going to start off, we're not taking a lightweight car that gets pushed around a lot, like the Ferrari. The Porsche 911, which is what we're currently driving, gets pushed around a medium amount. And is it broken in the sense that if you don't take the meta car, can you still have fun? Can you still succeed? Now, the meta car for this track is, I believe, the GTR and the BMW, and the BMW and both GTR are fantastic cars for not, shouldn't have switched into fifth there, for not getting punted around all over the place. So I probably should have tried them, and there I'm actually quite happy that there's ghosting, because I didn't expect the speed difference between the two cars to be that great. That was a huge speed difference. So thankfully I didn't spear them into, well, it wouldn't have been a spear into another stratosphere, but a horrible punt. So that actually is GT7 showing improvements this week. So let's test out this week's weekly race. And I find this race is perfect to be testing out this hypothesis. Really, there's not quite a hypothesis. Well, last week I was feeling like the races were broken, so I am wondering, I am wanting to answer the question here, and this track, Maguire, I know pretty well. I'm pretty used to it, so if there's a good track to test this theory out, that GT7 online racing sport mode is possibly broken, this would be the track to do it on, as I know it well enough to avoid trouble and not cause too many problems here. I can just race cleanly, mind my own business, and hopefully online racing sport mode is still fun. That moment of ghosting definitely maybe changing my mind. That was a good example of sport mode not being broken. Two very different, because something that's also happened lately is people brake checking others. I did that quite poorly. Wasn't paying attention. Well, there's a bit of that going on. I guess he's just expressing that he doesn't like that I dived in front of him. But I didn't make any contact with him, so odd that Peaches would come and hit us. Odd way of saying he doesn't like my driving. Very normal that he doesn't like my driving, but very odd that he'd do us a hit to try to take us off the track. Oh, caught a bit too much of the apex, I guess, there. And we are off. That's all on me, and no one hit me going through that, so maybe we're just in a friendly lobby. They're usually not this friendly. Usually it's quite a bit more chaos. So, is sport mode broken, or was it just last week's races? So yeah, there's been people brake checking other cars, people spearing each other into another stratosphere, really bad retaliations, and a very weird penalty system where if a car punts you off the track last week, you pick up the penalty and they just drive away scot-free to go cause more trouble. So last week, both the GR3 at the GR4 race at Bathurst and Switzerland, Deep Forest Switzerland for the GR3s felt extremely broken. Penalty system was off, excessive violence, and now this is a track that we know, so we should actually be able to properly test if this week they fixed the problems or if online is still really difficult in the sense that it's frustrating. It's difficult to bear through. It's not rewarding. It just wasn't worth, some people are commenting, it just wasn't worth their time. Well, that wasn't their exact words, but they're saying not racing this week, too frustrating. The races are just too frustrating. And then you have to deal with it when they get it wrong, the formula wrong. You have to deal with it for an entire week. It's not a daily race, it's really a weekly race, even though they're called the dailies. So got to pick up the time here. Practice laps, qualifying laps, always important if you want to get better and stay in your league. Put some qualifying laps down, but lap after lap, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, flat. Wasn't improving. I want to get down into the 150 club, even if that means a 157 to 159. 150 club is still the 150 club. All right, well, thank you for those that are watching while we're live. Please don't forget, help out the channel, help out the community, help us grow the community to more racers, more knowledge, and more car talk by hitting that like button and subscribing. Philness GT, how are you, my friend? Good evening. Last week, the daily, which are weekly races, feeling very broken. Weird penalty system, far too much violence, Call of Duty all the way, and we are testing it out to see if this week is Gran Turismo 7 still feeling awfully broken, or have they fixed up the penalty system? And also ghosting. Let's talk about ghosting. Well, not just last week, but many weeks we've got some really weird ghosting situations where cars get slowed down for the penalty, and then they get unghosted when you're about 2 feet behind them, or in a turn the car gets ghosted, or a car hits you, really goes out of their way to destroy you. This was actually someone on the left saying incredible race. Yeah, it's been a nice race. People haven't been pushing. It's been a fun, proper sportsmanship race. People driving like it's a sport and like they're actually racing a car. So I got to get used to not following the ghost. When you follow the ghost, it's pretty much easy to get fast times. So I'm going to have to get used to getting flat times with cars on the track and not following them, but just knowing the track really well so I know really what speeds I'm going through. Philness GT, good to have you, mate. Oh, a little collision there between the two cars. And we won't be finishing below 8th, hopefully, because that will push us down towards a lower league. But last week's violence on the track and bad penalty system was affecting even A+ drivers. Tigney made a video on that. If you're in last week for the lives, you'd have seen that I was getting pretty frustrated by the Call of Duty style action on the track. So not taking them at a car, and that's one of the things too. It's nice. Last week's slipstream was way off. You could really catch up to someone just by following behind them. I'll need more practice on the track to see how that's going. But so far, I didn't notice that I was getting a huge boost from driving behind people. There shouldn't be a major boost to easily pass someone that's, at the end of a straight that's a second ahead of you. So the boost seems better this week. The slipstream. Last week, it wasn't a slipstream. It was more like a nitrous boost when you follow behind someone. There we go. We got a clean race bonus, and it's nice. Because I think most of the races, when you're making an effort to not attack other people, it should be a clean race. You shouldn't be getting hit unless you're going out of your way, hitting other cars, causing all sorts of trouble. Then you can kind of expect a little bit of trouble back. So far this week, maybe I have noticed often, Monday, Tuesday night, having lots of fun. Wednesday, not so much. Thursday, the week is done. People have gotten too dirty. All right, let's get into the next race. So howdy and good evening, everyone. That race went surprisingly well. Yes, enjoying the races so far. Maybe it's just Monday night where people are less aggressive. First day of the week, often people are generally less aggressive. Maybe it was just the lobby I had, but that felt very good. Thank you very much, Philness GT. Really appreciate that. Now, while you cook, right on, mate. Now, what Philness GT? It's okay, you don't have to answer if you've got your hands dirty or we're working away. But what car would you suggest? I can tell you that the meta cars are the Supra, it would appear, the GTR, and the BMW. But the Ferrari 458, amongst our friends, the Ferrari 458 is popular. So congratulations to everyone up here. We got Philness GT right there, and he did it in the team colors. Right on, mate. JCCR _ Philness _ GT. Folks, don't forget to subscribe to this very quick friend of ours. Check out his channel, Philness Games. Now, the BMW, top of the list, Toyota Supra, Skyline, BRZ, the M6 I think is a very, either Skyline or M6, you're not going to get pushed around. But I also don't want, I'm not really looking to see, let's put it this way. I feel the races are broken when you have to take one or two, whether there's one or two meta cars for a track. I feel the race is broken in the weekly race. You have to take that car, and you just can't survive without it. So we know so far we did a 2 minute out of 4 laps. Every lap we did a 2 minute flat. Let's see if we take the meta car. Is it somehow, kind of very odd magic that occurs and we're now somehow much more competitive? That kind of feels like a slight brokenness, a slight crack in the glass. So let's check it out. I'm hoping that this week's races don't, I'm thinking in French now, oblige, don't force or require the meta car to do well. So let's try it with the meta car, and if on lap 1 we're 3 seconds faster, it's going to feel more like bullshito than anything else. This drives very different than the BMW. That's not, this BMW drives very different than the Porsche 911. That doesn't mean that's not a bad thing in any way. It just means I've got some getting used to. Usually, I feel like a racetrack, you should have your best times with the car you're the most consistent with, the car you know the best. As a general rule of thumb, I always find you'll get overall faster laps unless you've got, the 10-15 lap, the time to adjust, 10-15 laps into adjusting to that new meta car. But I'll just find it very weird if I walk in and get an equal or better time than with my Porsche 911. So I have no idea what I'm doing in the BMW here. Suddenly goes through there, that corner absolutely beautifully. And the BMW, lovely how beefy it is. This thing is a German tank. It's no pushover. It's not going to get beaten around the track by other drivers. Well, it can, but it takes a hitting, and it goes through there really well. I'm going through there at the same speed, but at the absolute outer limits with the 911. Okay, so lap 1, same time as the 911. And lap 1, I was just trying to figure out how this BMW drives. Had no idea. Okay, big error there. It's not really a good example. BMW certainly, I'm not driving it very smoothly, but I can now see that it's not a hard vehicle to drive smoothly on this track, especially with the brake balance at 4. Not used to the car, so glad that I didn't come here and just, have the car be excessively easy to and quick to drive on the track. So good to know. 911, Ferrari, whatever you're used to. I don't think, unless you're an A+ driver, an A driver, I don't think you necessarily have to be in the meta car here. Excuse me. Prost, friends. Cheers. Don't forget to throw in your medium tires. 4 laps, no pit. And always good to follow a ghost, get a good idea of where to go, what speed to go at it. Last lap in the BMW did not get into that straightaway at the right speed at all, so wasn't exactly helping myself out there. Good little test, see if we pick up a penalty by going out that far. Only way to get faster is to test, find out really where the outer limits of the turns are. So really need to use up the whole track here, unless we got someone following right behind us and we need to defend. Hey, Chowder Pouch! Saying, was happing. Very nice. I do believe you intended to say, what is happening? Not much. Starting off in, let's see, 3rd. It looks like we've settled in at starting in 3rd place, so always a good way to have a good chance of getting podium is starting the top 3 positions, because you've got, well, less people around you to spear you into another stratosphere. But so far, test 1, race 1, I'm feeling like Gran Turismo 7 isn't broken like the way it was last week. Last week, really odd penalty system. You get pushed off the track, you get the penalty. The person that hit you off the track gets nothing. Lots of punting, no penalty for that, it seemed. So this is going well. Chatter Pouch, how are you? How have your races been? Are you racing online? Or, last week I ended up just racing against the AI. I figured, well, you know what? This week's pretty frustrating. Online the sport mode is feeling broken. It's got too many problems to be enjoyable. And I went and raced with some AI, and that felt good. Not as satisfying as winning against other humans, but it felt good. So we're going to run here at -1 on the brake balance. We could handle -2 and still get turn in, but -1, start off the week nice and easy. And that's because the Porsche here has very little weight on the front end as it is. Chatterpouch, you're on the DL, the down low, I guess. So not online. Respectable. We'll have the radar on down in the right. We've moved the chat over to the left side so we can really see what's going on with this radar. And yeah, they're ghosting for turn 1 and turn 2 to avoid. Kind of frustrating. You wait, 6-8 minutes to get into a race, and turn 1 you get just absolutely destroyed to the back of the pack. So I'm glad to see how they're handling ghosting. Some weeks ghosting's been actually pretty bad, where they ghost you for your time, your penalty zone when you're taking your time off in the penalty cold shower. And then they unghost you right as someone's like 2 feet behind you, or it happens to you. You hit the car, you pick up a penalty. That was pretty awful. Gran Turismo unghosts a car absolute last minute, and I pick up a 4-second penalty. So let's see, this week, is it broken? Is online play, or is it treacherous work? Is there some ridiculous slipstream where at the end of the straightaway I'm going to end up right behind the Lambo just because I'm following? Oh, and we've been punted. Oh, not bad. Got punted pretty hard, but at least felt like we got punted there. We started to all of a sudden drive a lot faster when we were slowing down. And also, with the penalty system, some people have been brake checking in other weeks. They slam on the brakes, you hit them, and then you pick up a 4-second penalty. And if they manage it well, or at least a 1-second penalty, depending whether they go off track or not, but if they managed it well, it might have just pretty much, cost you the race. So we are in podium position for the moment. Let's see if we can hold on to it. We'll have to have faster laps than the last one we just did. 2:05 flat being the best lap. I'm 3 seconds behind. Not good if I go out and mow the lawn. They're not paying me enough to go mow that lawn, and I'm not John Deere tractor green with this livery. Did that all wrong, missed the apex, and the car on acceleration kind of having that front end go out in directions I don't really want it to go out in. Alright, we got 1.2 seconds on the car behind us, so we're fine. Don't have to worry about taking the inside line or the middle of the track. We can be on the outside here. So go from the complete outside. Catch the apex, full throttle. Got the belt on the big boy pants, so didn't lay off the throttle there. Too much braking. And too slow through there. Gotta push it a little more. But let me know what car you're gonna be using, what race you're gonna be racing in for the weekly races, and what car will you be using. And if you've already decided on your brake balance, let me know. Love it when the live stream puts in a little bit of car chat. I think it helps everybody out, puts ideas out on the table, and people can kind of pick and choose what works for them, try new things. Alright, so we've gained a second on the car behind us, but the racing on my end hasn't been so good, so we're not catching up to second place there. Well, like any task you try to take on, whether it's a sport, a hobby, a business, the goal is to make mistakes, learn from them, and just slowly get better. And that's what we're gonna have to do here this week. Gotta rev out this 911. Peak power at the top of the RPM band. Holding in fifth here. Yes, hopefully no penalty there. Really using the outsides of the track. Oh, mistake made. Big mistake. Chatterpouch, it sounds like you injured your wrist. Somebody injured their wrist. Oh, and the car is behind us. Crate's behind us. No longer the 2.5 second lead. Oh, maybe there's a bit of contact because they're down to 1.5 seconds behind. And now 2 seconds. And wow, 5 seconds behind that. Quick Brazilian and a Canadian at the top in first place. Third seems the right gear through there. Try to use the whole track. Try to catch the apexes here. There we go. Didn't make the same mistake as last. Got through there quick. No wall that time. And it looks like we might pick up a podium, night one. And the racing was clean, but was it clean for the whole pack? Still can't answer whether this week's races are broken. But last race was clean. That we didn't really have anyone around to find out if it was clean. But that went quite well. We did a thing! Second place. Yes, night one, second place. Really happy about that and glad that you guys made it for that. Camerloto, hello, greetings, good sir. Chowder Pouch got to catch that. Now I get to catch up on what's been going on. So Filmless GT is cooking. Thanks for having us on while you cook, buddy. And Chowder Pouch is on the DL. Oh, wrist injury. Yeah, so you will be very much on the down low. My goodness. Oh, that's unfortunate. And yes, folks, check out Filmless's link. Check out his channel. Make sure you've subscribed. And Chatterpouch using ice and heat for his wrist and incorporating some garden gloves. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know if it's carpal tunnel, but for my carpal tunnel, which gotten really bad in my right wrist, couldn't really hold this up without being in tremendous pain and sometimes letting go. At the pharmacy, I bought a wrist holder that goes on with some metal inside, and it's got a Velcro strap. And that thing got horribly smelly, but helped heal. A lot of my wrist injuries were from actually holding up these oversized smartphones, and at night, rolling around in bed. Nothing kinky, just I don't sleep that well, I guess. I move a lot in my sleep, and just that made it so that my wrist wouldn't get bent all over the place or end up, being stuck in a position like this. And I changed my mouse. Instead of having a flat mouse, I have a sideways mouse and move it around and got my buttons. It's made a huge, huge difference. So if it is carpal tunnel, I really hope that I've helped you. I'm sure if you incorporate some of that, or ideally all of that, your wrist is going to get better. For me, it took about a month to really see of, incorporating all those techniques, but all that made it so that my wrist over a month did heal. So far, gotta say that if we start off as neutral, saying yes, last week was broken, but we start with a neutral position of saying could be broken, it could be perfect. So far, we are right down the middle. I can't conclude anything. We're gonna have to be back tomorrow night. All I know is I didn't see any weird penalties, and the ghosting was actually spot on, good and helpful this week, instead of ghosting causing accidents that you then get penalized for. We did get pushed. There was no penalty whatsoever for getting pushed, and it was kind of a weird place to get pushed. So I would like to see, but it was a light to medium push, so not that big of a deal. I'm not complaining. It's just if they want to have clean, proper sportsmanship, which for me, some people maybe the battle royales are fun. The Royal Rumble, the Rumble in the Bronx. Maybe that's fun for some, but for me, it's not. So for me, so far, looking pretty good. And Aussie Pug, what is up, buddy? Howdy, mate. Saying hi, JC and chat. I'm in the process of doing a Mustang for you and cooking for my son and daughter-in-law because they just had a baby. Wow, congratulations. Wait, son? So, Grandpa. Yeah, Grandpa Aussie Pug. Fantastic. Oh, that's very sweet to be cooking for your son and daughter-in-law, and they just had a baby. That is so cool. Thanks. That's great. Positive that you're taking care of the family. Family first, folks. Family is so important. So don't listen to media when they try to build you this idea of moving to the big city and being far away from your family to focus on your career, somehow empowering. Being with your around family and being close to family, that's empowering. So thanks, mate, for building us a Mustang livery, because 2 weeks ago we tried the Mustang and I really liked it. I didn't have a livery for it, I don't think, but I really liked it. So really appreciate that you're working. Ooh, the Porsche at Fuji. Oh, we're gonna have to try that out. So let's see here. If we're in sport mode, we'll go check out our Mustang. I don't think we have a livery for the Mustang yet, so that will be really appreciated. Because, yeah, the Mustang could be a pretty darn cool car to drive here, because the front engines are seem to be all meta. The Skyline front engine, BMW front engine, Supra front engine, and they seem to be doing quite well here. So, yeah, no livery for the Mustang. Oh, Aussie Pug, that's awesome. I really look forward to it. Mustard is Barricade. I think you probably meant Mustang Chowder Pouch, right? The Mustang is Barricade. Yeah, not finished yet, Aussie Pug, and I'm not here to rush you. No worries whatsoever, but when you do finish it, send it to me through our friend PSN contact, and I'd like to show it to the community. I'd like to build it, put it on my build, the car. I consider the car my build, but even though we don't build these GT3 cars, they just come this way. And Chatter Pouch talking about the Decepticon. All right, cool. Well, I look forward to all of that, folks. Tonight, I'm going to focus on family. The wife has been up at 5:30 a.m. for about 4 nights straight because it's been really hot. We don't have air conditioning. So the baby goes to bed, sleeps really well because the window's open, and, kind of little shorts and little t-shirt. But then come 5 in the morning, I guess she misses her blankie and wakes up. So mama's tired, and I told her that I'd be getting in bed for about 10 o'clock, 10, 10, 10, and it's just past 10. So thank you so much for watching, folks. Blessed to have you along. Really appreciate that. 12 people are now in. We started off at 0, and it's certainly nice to finish with 12, 13 viewers. Folks, you haven't already done so, help the community, help the family here. Hit that thumbs up. Chatter Pouch has got the AC now. That is fantastic. Really appreciate you all, folks. I'm going to go support the family. Godspeed, everyone. I wish you all more cars and more power. Hope you get to put the pedal to the metal in a car that you love sometime real soon, and I really hope to see you here tomorrow night. Take care, folks. Godspeed, God bless, and see you tomorrow.